Radio Raheem with ZIZO. Last time I saw you, you were in your home country of Saudi Arabia. Now you're in my second home of London. And you have traveled the world preparing for a boxing career. You've learned here, you've studied here before. Where are you preparing for this fight?
You know, at this point, it's not the ZIZO fight camp, it's the ZIZO World Tour now. I need to get some shirts and have that on the back. But I'm preparing, you know, the pressure is still there. It's a different kind of pressure, though. You know, this is my own pressure now where I want to showcase my boxing, showcase my offense, my defense, and prove something to myself. And that's a special drive. It's a nice feeling to have that more relaxed, you know, and I'm just ready to make more history, being the first to do this, being the first to do that, stuff nobody can ever take away from you.
Well, let's remind the fans of how they became aware of you in the first place. You were on a global stage. You had the kind of fight that really tests a fighter, not just his skills, but his heart. Getting up off the canvas, winning a very close fight early on the card, at home. How did that change you as a fighter?
I mean, it changed me mentally more than it did physically, of course. Now I know what to control mentally going into the fight, and I know what I've always knew. I've had it, that heart, and coming where I've come up and growing up where I've grew up in what boxing system I had to make it out of. But I proved it to myself and I showed it to others that, like you said there that night, one thing you can't teach is heart. And I had to get up, and I always train my mind as I train my body. Maybe to the other people, it was the first time I've ever been knocked down. But in my head, in my visualization techniques, as I knock someone down, I also visualize being knocked down. And so I've been there millions of times in my head. So when it happened in real life, I was calm, I was composed. I knew all I have to do was trust my corner, listen to instructions, turn my mind on, switch off from the crowd and the hype, and actually get that win and trust my game plan.
Being knocked down in the ring is one thing, but a lot of us have experienced knockdowns in real life outside of the competitive. Or did that come into play on the night at all?
Yeah, you know, this was you could say this was the lightest knockdown that I've ever experienced in my life. You know, yeah, it was in front of thousands in attendance and millions watching around the world, but I've had to get up from worse knockdowns in life. And that's really what prepares me mentally. You know, it's just a bigger stage that I'm doing it on. This time I was doing it in front of people watching. And it's one thing to go down, it's another to get up, but it's another completely to know how to walk again after you get up. You have to first crawl, then sit up, then start walking, then start running. And that was round 2, 3, and 4 for me. And that's how it rolled out. And that's how I had it in my head.
You talk about the weight that's on your shoulders of millions, really, especially your countrymen at home. What was the reception like after that night and since, preparing for another stage almost as big?
It's amazing. It's the best thing is I'm living not only my dream, but the dreams of so many other people that have always wanted to do this. The dreams of people who want to do this coming up, and I'm showing them that it's possible. And you know, being the first ever to do something from my country in Saudi Arabia or the Arab world, I'm going to be the first to make so many mistakes. And I'm good with that. I'm fine with that because I'm prepared for that mentally. But what's more important is I'm making these dreams for the ones coming up easier. I'm now showing them who to talk to, who to trust, how to fight, what to switch on, what to switch off. And most importantly, what you can come back from after you've been knocked down, not only in boxing, but in life as well.
People should know that coming from Saudi Arabia and being a favorite of the country doesn't mean you have an easy path or an easy road in this career. For instance, we're here for the Anthony Joshua Franklin fight. Anthony Joshua would never imagine on the Wednesday before the fight not knowing who his opponent is, being called on a Sunday before a Saturday, like, do you want to fight in 6 days? This is something that happens when a fighter is hungry and when he says yes to a challenge like that. Talk to me about the phone call, and what do we know about your opponent on Saturday night?
I mean, we know that my opponent is a southpaw, and that's all me and Buddy McGirt needed to know, honestly. Anything else I'm prepared for, again, as I said, mentally. It's one thing to prepare for what you want, but it's another to prepare for what's written. And I'm always ready to adapt for what's written. It might not be what I want at that minute, but what's written is what I'll want after it's done. And that's what it means to trust the process, trust what is written for you. And with patience, nothing ever happens to you. It all happens for you. So when I got that phone call, it was a yes, because that's written. After that win, God willing, I love that phone call, and I love me saying yes, because I'm ready.
On a stage like this in London, where fans might be seeing you for the first time on this pond, what is it that you want them to leave saying, man, that ZIZO was...
I want them to see that personality and that confidence expressed through charisma. That's what I love to do. And I want them to see so much, or actually, I promise you're going to see so much, you're going to think you're at a talent show, not a fight. And that's what I'm excited to do.
We're early on still in 2023. Your career, like I've said, you keep getting these huge stages. Where are your goals, let's say, for the next year? When we talk to you in March of 2024, where is ZIZO's career going to be?
Well, wherever Prince Khaled and Skill Challenge Promotions want to take me. I'm the first signed boxer for Skill Challenge Promotions, and it's led by Prince Khaled. And this guy changed my life, you know, and I'm just trusting them to build me. And it's my job to work and train and outwork everybody around me, and the rest will come when it's supposed to come. I have a good team in Buddy McGirt, Paul Smith, and Rachel Charles. These people have just really changed my life completely. And looking from a year from now, I'm not going to put any expectations, because I'm ready for whatever is going to come. If a good fight, a big fight, a title shot, whatever is there, I will be ready to do. Maybe I might not feel ready now, but that's the judge in a year from now.
You talk about Prince Khaled having changed your life. Well, he changed the life of anybody in Saudi Arabia who had aspirations to be a boxer, especially after the event with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, bringing so much attention to that region and bringing really boxing as an opportunity and an option for young athletes. I know you've spoken about how hard it was to find like gym equipment for boxing in Saudi before, and how you had to travel the world to learn from other places. How has that changed the environment for our young and upcoming boxers in the kingdom?
Well, now the boxing gyms are everywhere. Boxing gyms are everywhere. The equipment is everywhere. And, you know, the participation grew by 300% ever since the AJ Ruiz fight. Saudi Arabia itself is one of the fastest growing economies today, and Prince Khaled is taking participation in part of that. And I, as an athlete, as a spokesperson, as a representative for Saudi Arabia and Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia, I'm taking participation in that too. So it's a lot of weight, but it's beautiful weight, again, that I said once fight night comes, it turns into a cape. I put that cape on and I fly. And I fly through them, I fly to them, whatever it is, I do it. But yeah, he's changed the lives of so many, and that's just the beginning, and that's the exciting part.
Well, we look forward to you landing in the ring on Saturday night, taking that cape off and showing us the kind of grit, determination, and skill that we saw in Saudi Arabia just a month ago. Radio Raheem with ZIZO.